Hey, welcome. We're surrounded by measurements all day, every day. But have you ever just stopped and wondered where they actually come from? We're about to dive into this really cool idea that the way we weigh gold, tell time, and even count our money might not be random at all. They could actually be echoes of a much, much bigger cosmic rhythm. So, let's start with this. A bar of gold. Its weight seems pretty straightforward, right? Just a standard we all agree on. But what if it's not arbitrary? What if that very specific number connects us to something, well, something vast and incredibly ancient? The standard we use for precious metals is called the troy ounce, and its history is just incredible. It stretches all the way from medieval France, way, way back to the mathematical geniuses of ancient Sumeria. So this isn't just any old unit, it's a very specific and very old one. So how specific are we talking? Well, get this. 1 troy ounce is exactly 31,103 milligrams. Now, I need you to hold on to that number, 31,103. It feels completely random, doesn't it? Just some weird, clunky number. But trust me on this, you're gonna wanna remember it. Okay, now let's completely shift gears. Let's travel thousands of miles away and centuries earlier. The Mayan civilization, they were, let's just say, obsessed with time. And deep inside their super complex calendars, there's this one key number that was essential to their cosmic clockwork, a massive world cycle that lasted 31,104 years. And this is where things get a little weird. Let's just put those two numbers right next to each other. On one side, you have the weight of a troy ounce in milligrams, 31,103, and on the other, the length of a Mayan cosmic cycle in years, 31,104. I mean, they're practically the same number. We could call this an arithmetical echo, a cosmic pattern hiding in a human measurement. Is it just a crazy coincidence? Maybe. But let's see just how deep this rabbit hole goes. To really understand this echo, we need to look at something even more fundamental. Let's explore the blueprint that ancient cultures used to measure pretty much everything, both time and space, the perfect circle. The secret code behind all this? It's called the sexagesimal system. Basically, it's a base 60 counting system that came from ancient Sumeria, and it's pretty much the foundational DNA for how we still measure our world today. And just think about how this ancient system is still running our lives. 60 seconds in a minute, right? 60 minutes in an hour. And it's even in our geometry. A circle has 360 degrees. Well, that's just 6 times 60. Our clocks and our compasses are literally speaking the same ancient mathematical language. Okay, so here's a really important idea that ancient thinkers were totally fascinated by. On one hand, you have the 360-degree circle. It's perfect, it's clean, it's this divine mathematical ideal. But on the other hand, you've got the messy reality of our world, the 365 and a bit days it actually takes the Earth to go around the sun. This tension between the perfect idea and the imperfect reality is totally central to our story. And what's so amazing is that this same mathematical DNA, this same tension, it doesn't just pop up in time and space. We can also find it encoded in something super practical: money. Our next clue comes from Old British currency, specifically the pound, but before it went decimal back in 1971. Its system wasn't based on simple tens or hundreds. Nope, it was based on something way more ancient. The math was different, for sure, but it had its own kind of beautiful logic. You had 12 pence in a shilling and then 20 shillings in a pound. So if you multiply those, you get this really important number. 240 pence made up 1 British pound. And yep, you guessed it, that number, 240, it's hiding something too. Just look at its parts. It's 4 times 60, and it's also 20 times 12. It's built from the exact same harmonic numbers, 12 and 60, that we find in our clocks and in geometry. It's another echo of that same ancient structure. So you really have to ask yourself, is it just one giant coincidence that these totally separate systems for time, for circles, and for money all share the exact same mathematical foundation? Or did ancient cultures deliberately encode a deeper harmony into the very fabric of their world? To get to the real heart of this, we need to go even deeper. We have to go past human systems and into the fundamental constants of geometry itself. You could almost think of it as the universe's source code. And here we meet two mathematical heavyweights, pi and phi. You can think of them as the yin and yang of geometry. Pi is the number of the circle. It governs all things rotation and enclosure. And phi, the golden ratio, while that governs growth, spirals, and proportion, it's the way life itself seems to unfold. And this brings us to just a beautiful way to see their relationship. Pi is the measure of the container, like the circular shape of a coin. And phi is the measure of what's contained, the value, the growth, the meaning held right inside it. They are two sides of the same cosmic, coin. So let's bring this all together. We've looked at weight, at time, at money, and at the very source code of geometry. What happens if we stop seeing them as totally separate systems and start hearing them as different notes in the same cosmic song? This is where it all just clicks into place. Look at these connections. The system of mass, with the troy ounce, it echoes the Mayan cosmic cycle. The system of time and space, measured in our hours and minutes, echoes the geometry of the perfect 360-degree circle. And the system of value, in that old currency, it echoes that same sexagesimal harmony. Everything seems to be in resonance. And this really gets us to the grand idea of this whole explainer. What if these systems aren't just random numbers we made up? What if they're actually reflections, maybe even subconscious ones, of the deep mathematical patterns that structure the entire cosmos, binding together physical matter with profound meaning? So the next time you look at a clock or weigh something out, maybe don't just see it as a number. See it as a note in a much, much grander symphony. And that leaves us with one final question to ponder. What other cosmic echoes are out there, hiding in plain sight, just waiting for us to notice?